Welcome to Shape the Podcast, a podcast all about maintaining mental health by sharing stories from those who have overcome negative experiences and feelings, and then turned them into something positive. Meet your host.
Hey out there, welcome to the show tonight. My second one, so I guess I made it past the first one. There was enough people that liked it, so I guess we'll do this again. I just got back from You Matter 4 down in Schulenburg, Texas. Shannon Klinkenbeard, who runs the event down there, was our guest last week. I have some feedback, guys, so just hang with me a second. Got it. Okay, sorry about that. One of my other tabs on my computer was open, and I was playing the podcast in the background. So yeah, Schulenburg, Texas, Shannon Klinkenbeard, You Matter 4, great event. Best thing about that for me was I've only been involved in this industry for about a year and a half, and I have made a lot of friends online and interacted with a lot of people. And it allowed me to meet a lot of those people in person, which is really cool. But what was even cooler with that is the fact that the event raised $15,000 for the Wellness Council of Greater Colorado Valley. Great organization. I'm so proud of everything that everybody did down there to make that happen. And I look forward to going back again next year. Wife and I spent the day in Austin and had some fun and went over to Schulenburg the next day. And what an absolute great time and great place and great people. I think the next one, you know what? The next one I'm doing ain't for a month. It's going to be Cyan in Ohio, the Cyan beard competition. Kyle, the host of the show, he's the one putting that show on. So I think that's either the last weekend. I can't see my calendar well enough. Either the last weekend or of February or the first weekend of March. I'm not exactly sure on the date, but guys, if you're close to Ohio, check that one out. I'm being told my audio is off a little bit, so let me see if I can fix that. Let's see. Okay, we're going to see if that is any better. Hopefully it is. And tonight we have a gentleman by the name of Andrew Meyrick who's joining us. So I'm going to bring him up. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Army veteran. Had some issues with PTSD since the end of your service. So why don't you take the floor and tell us your story?
Well, you know,
before I start that, let me say thank you for your service.
Thank you. Well, started like any other why did I join story. I dropped out of high school, figured I needed to do something. So got my GED, enlisted with the New Jersey National Guard, thinking, 19, they'll send me to school. I'll get some experience like that, get some college in me. But 6 months out of training, 19 years old, deployed right away. Got to our base, affectionately known as Mortaritaville. It just bombs every day, multiple times a day. I wasn't in a combat job. I was motor pool. Mm-hmm. But at 19 years old, seeing the Humvees that have been blown up coming into the motor pool, we lost 2 guys from companies that we supported. So seeing their Humvees coming in and being, washed out really kind of takes a toll on you at that age. So
sure.
For that 15 months we were in country, It was just the constant mortars, the constant seeing that. So coming home, I played the part of, oh, I'm a man. I don't have this. I wasn't in a combat job, so I shouldn't have PTSD. And that was back in 2007 when I got home. So it really took me from then to about 4 years ago when I got remarried that I really got my wife got me in gear. Like, I really need to get this stuff looked at. It ruined my first marriage because I didn't want to go out. I couldn't go to public places. I was always on alert, always looking around. Just, it wasn't fun. It really, ruined things with that. So with her saying, look, you need to get it done. Plus the guys I've deployed with, we get together once or twice a year, hang out on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And this past Veterans Day is when I was talking to one of the guys who were constantly on convoys, and I was telling him, like, yeah, I have the symptoms, but I never really wanted to come forward because I don't want to take that from someone who actually does need it. And he really just laid into me. He's like, it doesn't matter what you did or what your job, if you have it, you have it. So between him and my wife now really kicked me in the gear. I finally went to the VA a couple weeks ago, finally got information on some support groups to do virtually, set up with a therapist to finally go the non-medication route, because that's the first thing we want to do is just pound you with medication. My family has a history of addiction, so I tend to stay away from all of that. And my wife is real big into the more holistic stuff, which is great. The essential oils really help with that. So just taking that organic route and being more open and talking, it finally broke me out. It took me out of that mentality of, oh, I'm a guy, I can push it down, keep it down inside me, I'm good. But it just doesn't work that way.
So is it common in your experience that veterans who are going through what you're going through tend to internalize that? Let me try to rephrase that. Is it common that guys that didn't experience a physical injury, that they attempt to internalize the mental struggles that they go through after experiencing the things that you guys have experienced?
From what I've seen, yeah, it's a lot of us have that mentality where, if I didn't see actual combat, I don't deserve these benefits because it's taking away. Like, I never went the service dog route through like an actual company because of that. Because I figure, well, I'm taking that service from somebody else. So I did we adopted a dog from a shelter who was really attached to me from the first meeting. And we had intentions of actually getting her trained, but that kind of fell through, plus with her age. So I like to say I had to get my service dog a service dog. So we ended up adopting another puppy. So now kind of have two that really they'll just, even though they're not trained, I can kind of tell, like, if I'm feeling something, they'll just come up right to me. Of course, they're pit bulls, so they're lap dogs. So, so they'll cuddle up right with me on the couch or in the bed.
Yeah, they have a great innate sense for sensing those things. Yeah, it's amazing. And yes, they're all giant, big lap dogs that don't realize how big they are sometimes.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your first wife. What happened there? You mentioned that you didn't like to go out and you were on edge. Is that something that she struggled with? Is that something that you pushed away from her? How did that degradation of that relationship come about?
it was more so she couldn't handle it. Like she wanted to constantly, we were young. I got married to my first wife real young, and she wanted to have that, party life and going out to the bar and everything. So it got to the point where even when I was out, like it's crowded. If I get bumped into, I just get real anxious and real, my fight or flight takes over. And
right.
She couldn't handle it more than I couldn't. And it got to the point where we were living apart for a little while. And when I would go home, she'd be like, yeah, I'm going to bed. But then she'd secretly sneak off and go out with her friends or by herself or something. And that just the biggest thing that put the strain on it and pretty much ended that.
So you guys worked through that, and then over a period of time, you met your new wife. How did that come about?
By chance, actually. I was with a motorcycle group. It's called Warriors Watch, and we ride in parades and do welcome home for soldiers and funerals for soldiers and all that. So, I was stuck on I'm 30 something. I'm gonna be probably single for the remainder of my life. And I wasn't looking. So I did a Memorial Day parade in one town over from me now where I grew up. And a couple of the people my parents, grew up with, who I called my uncles, invited me down to the river for a Memorial Day barbecue. And just so happened she was there with her daughter, and I didn't know it, but I knew her stepfather. So kind of was that awkward where her mother came up and, was talking to me like, well, my daughter's single. And the next day we joke about it because I say she slid into my DMs first because she messaged me on Facebook, and we just kind of hit it off and been together 5 years now. So
excellent. Wonderful. Yeah. And you mentioned music. Tell me about your interest in music. What do you like?
Oh, my music is huge. Music for me started with my grandfather. My grandparents raised me, and my grandfather was actually a minister. So there was no we kind of snuck in the old, the rap and everything when we were younger, but it was really, we grew up, myself grew up with the Rat Pack, smooth jazz, things like that. So I have a huge vinyl collection that I still listen to, that most of it's from him. And that's basically my music interest is all over the place. I like old school R&B, jazz, the Rat Pack, country, rock. It's just whatever my mood is at that point is just, I have a vinyl for it. Right now, though, I will say on repeat on my Spotify is Jelly Roll's new album. A lot of his songs just hit exactly how I'm feeling or what I've gone through. And that's just been on repeat.
I got a lot of friends that enjoy Jelly Roll, and I can't tell you that I've ever knowingly listened to any of his stuff.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is his one song, I'm Not Okay, actually came out, I believe, the day before or the day after my grandfather passed last year. So it was like that song specifically, just anytime I need it, I just throw it on.
Yep. Do you play anything?
No, I was not blessed with that talent. No.
Me neither. And I've always wanted to play guitar. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted. And I'm going to guess maybe, I think it was 2, maybe 3 Christmases ago, but I think it was 2. My wife bought me a guitar. And winter's a slow time for me at work. So I sit here and I make the most god-awful sounds when nobody's around all winter long. And I just can't get these old fat fingers to work. And it's not for lack of wanting to, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
really do want to. I don't know. I probably should have done it when I was 5, but
Yep.
just can't figure it out. So
Yeah,
I make
actually,
up for it by listening.
yeah. When I was deployed, a buddy of mine who was, played guitar and stuff gave me one of his old guitars.
Mhm.
And because I told him, I wanted to learn. And that was back in 2007. It's sitting in a case now at my ex-wife's house with my daughter. So, but my daughter plays a few instruments. She's good with the piano. My stepdaughter, she plays the trumpet now. She's learning.
Mhm.
So we got some in the family that are musically inclined, but they certainly didn't get it from me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not the musical gene was not the one that was that was dominant in my generation. That's for sure. And not in my generation, in my family, it skipped over me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what are the things your wife does to help you in your path that you're on right now to better yourself after the events you dealt with in the Army?
Well, not even with just my mental health, but like my physical health, because for the longest time I just deal with the pain, but she really like, look, you need to get to the VA, you need to get this looked at. She's just on me to get these appointments done, which is great because then I just found out I have bone spurs between 3 of my vertebrae, plus my hip, and degeneration in my knee, all from my service. And with mental health, she'll know, she just can see when I'm just out of it. And she's just there to just, hey, what's up? What's going on? What's going through your brain? Just, she's really just there and just pushes me to get to these appointments, get things scheduled. She's just right on top of me with it all.
And because the benefit is there, right? She came into the relationship knowing your past, and knowing what she was getting in for, as opposed to your first wife.
Right.
And I'll listen. I'll tell you, the second one is always better.
Oh, I make the joke with her where a marriage is like pancakes. It's okay to throw the first one away.
So was she married prior?
Yes, she was as well.
Yep. And she has a kid. Any kids between the two of you?
No, we're kind of one and done on both our ends.
Gotcha. No plans at all then.
Nope. Nope. In fact, I got an appointment to get snipped coming up in a couple weeks. So no accidents.
Done that. How old is her kid? Is your guys' kid?
Mine is 16, and my stepdaughter just turned 11.
And your 16-year-old is a son or a daughter?
Daughter. Yeah, I'm
God
surrounded by girls.
God bless you.
Yeah.
The teenage years of fatherhood to a daughter is something I don't wish on too many people.
It's also worse because she is the spitting image of me. So I can't even get mad at some of the things she does, because even the dark humor is just, she's a me. So
yeah, I get that completely. My daughter was a guest on this show with me months ago before I became a guest host. And I'm hoping in a couple of weeks, my daughter will host an episode herself with a guest we have coming up. So it's a great relationship, but the struggles through teenage years, I can't even tell you how many bottles of whiskey I went through.
Oh, yeah, I got some sitting here.
So you've got this platform in front of you where we've got, I don't know, a whopping 7 people watching. What would you tell everybody who's dealing with something similar to what you went through? What's your key advice?
find a support system. If you're a guy, don't be the typical I'm too macho to talk through it.
Mm-hmm.
Find a good support system. I have my wife, but I also have my beard club. I joined a new beard club beginning
Give
of
them a
this
shout
year. Renegade Beard Club. I'm
Mm-hmm.
the president of the New Jersey chapter. And it's just, even though I've only known them a short amount of time, they've just been incredible. So you can find a support system in the most unexpected places.
Any events for them coming up?
That I'm not sure. I know there's a few. Let me pull up there. I know there's a few coming up out of state.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey, we're still very fresh, very new. So, I'll
You
probably
guys
have
going to
back to you.
Beards on the Beach down in Ocean City, Maryland?
That I don't know, but when is that? Because I'm not far from. I'm only a few hours from there.
Let me grab my calendar. Let's see. It's a little later on in the year. It's going to be in the last page I flipped to. October 11th, Saturday, October 11th.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely gonna have to look into that thing because I'm not far from Ocean City. I'm right up, South Jersey. So.
Mm-hmm. And isn't there one in Wildwood?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is one in Wildwood every year. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I know they post
maybe,
about a few they attend that aren't set up by us. Like they got Whisker Mania 6 coming up in Kentucky.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I believe a few guys, our founder is from Kentucky, so he's probably going to be at that event. His name is Beans. So
is there a story behind the nickname, or?
I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm definitely going to ask about it.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know where that one came from.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, keep in touch. If you guys have events you want to let us know about, we'll certainly get you up again to get some promotion to it. And we all greatly appreciate your service to our country, and we're always here for you. And we appreciate you taking the time to come up here and tell us your story tonight.
Yeah, appreciate having me. I appreciate you guys. Like I just recently found, you guys on Facebook and everything, and just going through and watching some of the older podcasts. It's great what you guys are doing for the mental health community, and getting it out there, making it more visible, because not enough people know how many people actually have some kind of mental health issue. So it's great that you guys are getting it out there.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. We're glad you found us.
Yeah. Can I also shout one more? This is a
Absolutely.
Shameless plug here.
Go for it.
So me and my wife back in 2020 started it's not yet a 501c3, but we started a foundation called Panda Squad. And it started out where we would get one or two local families who couldn't afford a Thanksgiving dinner, and we would pay out of pocket, go and just buy a full Thanksgiving meal for a few families that were local. And I'm happy to say this past Thanksgiving, we put it out there that we were looking for some donations and a couple, nominations for families in need. And we ended up getting donations for 5 families that were local for Thanksgiving, and we had near zero out of pocket. So it's something we're working towards. We're adding, once we get the 501, we're helping out families of veterans who, lost the struggle with mental health. We're going to put together stuff for the kids of those families for like Christmas or their birthdays or something like that. We want to really do something with families of veterans who lost the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind
Amazing.
of a little shameless plug there.
No, nothing shameless about that. We're happy to promote something along those lines. Yeah. It's wonderful that after what you went through and what you've dealt with, that you've taken that and turned it and allowed you to grow from it and give back to others on the other side of it. It's excellent progression. We're so glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I will be in touch. I appreciate you being on tonight. And any last words?
Just talk it out. Don't keep it in. Just let it out. Don't be afraid. Don't be too manly. Just talk.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for your time, Andrew, tonight. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you. Bye. What a great story and what a great guy. I'm so glad we found him, and I'm glad he took the time to come here and share his story. Working on lining up guests for the next couple of weeks. We're doing this every other Friday. So I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight on all the different platforms that this is streaming to. It's going to a couple of different Facebooks and a couple of different YouTubes. So I thank you all. I appreciate your time. I hope there was a benefit to somebody listening and somebody else was able to learn and grow from this to some degree. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to reach out to us on the Facebook page or in the Facebook group. And I thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great night tonight. Take care.